Good evening, everyone. We are back for week 4. I am back from Cancun, so hola, adios to everybody that I met down there and all the drinks that I enjoyed. Alex, we'll start with you. How much did you enjoy doing the show without me? You can be brutally honest.
I mean, if you saw that we had a blast and we made sure to just tell everybody how much fun we were having without you every chance we had. But it's nice to have you back because maybe we'll not go on these tangents, but we probably will, just because it's way too much
There's
fun.
nothing wrong with that. I mean, you guys act like I'm the
When
harbinger of death and
when it
fun.
was
I
with
mean,
me and I go on a tangent, you're like, "Ugh, slow down. You can't do that."
Well, because you did that, right? I watched the Tuesday show, and you started talking about Jason Morrow's tiny hands, which had
Dude,
no
how funny
relevance
is that story, though?
in the world.
How funny is that
I mean,
story?
what do you want?
Now every
What do you
time you
want me to do,
tomorrow,
though?
you're gonna be like, "Oh my God, that dude has tiny hands."
Hands are pretty damn small.
Pete, thanks for holding down the fort, man. You did a great job hosting. I do appreciate that, and I will not be surprised if many people request you as being a host again. So just make sure you
Just
keep
go
your
on.
hosting chops wet.
Look, the secret to all I did, I'm just gonna say this, is I completely made up just about everything. Talked about South Park and really generally had no clue what I was doing. It was fantastic. I had a ton of fun. I highly recommend it. And there may or may not have been a beer or two involved as well.
There were
That's encouraged. That's encouraged, though.
Right.
Go ahead, Alex.
there were some before and some during, from what I remember.
Well, good. I'm glad you guys have fun. Comments, they were very encouraging, so I appreciate that to everybody who watched. Thank you for watching and participating. Thank you for those people watching now. So let's dive right in then. We'll go straight up with our quarterback value picks. Our first one will be Philip Rivers. He is at home. The Browns come to visit him in San Diego this week. Let's take a look. Last week he was at Minnesota, went 21 of 34, threw for 246 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, only got you 11.84 fantasy points on DraftKings. So, Alex, talk to me. Why do you think, you think he's better than David Carr? They just let David Carr throw for 300 plus on him. You think Philip Rivers can do the same thing?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the biggest thing with Rivers is that he is home this week. Last week he would the Chargers have for the last couple of years, they're not good at the 1 p.m. early slate, going at least halfway or further across the country. Like they played all the way in Minnesota, which is a lengthy trip for them off the West Coast, playing a 1 o'clock, which for them is a 10 a.m. game. That's gonna hurt his value, and I thought that's why I recommended both Woodhead and Stevie Johnson last week, because I kind of forgot about that whole cross the country thing. Because it's early. Like, we don't think about those kind of things early. We just look at the value of players and how they're doing up against teams. But it's just another data point to have going forward. And now this week at home versus a team that's worse than what they played last week, I'm back on the Stevie, Woodhead, and Rivers bandwagon.
That's a really good point. The travel is definitely something that I didn't think of either, and I had heavily invested in Stevie Johnson as well. Now, obviously, we saw that the injury, I think it was to Xavier Rhodes, right, that played a big deal. Keenan Allen was just raping that entire secondary left and right. So
he really didn't
get what
until those the early touchdown and the late touchdown. Other than that, he wasn't that good. They were just a bad offense.
Keenan Allen?
They were just I'm just saying they were a bad offense in general.
They were, but Keenan still went for 12 for 133. I mean, his 2 touchdowns definitely helped, but he threw up, even without those touchdowns, he threw up, 28 points? So he had a pretty good game. But anyway, we're talking about receivers. Let's go back to quarterbacks here. Pete, did you have anything to add to Philip?
Not really. I mean, look, the entire Kellen Clemens looked all right. Everyone else on the Chargers, other than Keenan Allen, who got the garbage time, looked terrible. And I think this was just a case of they were in Minnesota, And, look, I get it. Minnesota sucks. There's nothing to do. You go out the night before the game, you have a few too many drinks, you wake up in the morning like, do we really have to do this? I don't know if I feel like it. I'm not sure that I really want to actually play some football today. And I think that's pretty much all there is to it. They're back home in San Diego. It's nice and sunny. It's nice and warm. And maybe they'll do something this week. I think you just chalk this one up to an anomaly. The Chargers are better than that. Maybe they had like really bad Indian food the night before or something. I don't know.
It's definitely ill-advised to have Indian food the night before a big game. So
Dude, there's really great place in Minneapolis called Ohm. It's like an outstanding restaurant. I should get paid for this plug, but anyway, I digress.
Reach out to the owner of Ohm and see if he'll hook you up. Mm-hmm. Maybe he can even ship some to you.
Yeah, I'll take garlic naan via mail.
Very nice. All right, let's hop on to another person who is one of Alex's favorites, I know, but Pete, I want you to talk about him first. The soulless ginger, Mr. Andy.
Yes, he knows it. Good. The thing.
Crushing it, and his DraftKings salary still does not go up. $5,900 on DraftKings, $7,600 on FanDuel. Let's see. I'm sorry, I apologize. His DraftKings salary went up a whole $200 after he threw for 380 and 3 touchdowns against the Ravens last week.
You better.
I'm sorry, Andy. I'm sorry. So go ahead, Pete. Tell me what you like about him this week going up against Kansas City, who we saw just get torched by Aaron Rodgers last night.
Well, so last week we were so structured and organized that we forgot to mention something sort of critical, which is that a Green Bay stack was fantastic, and I will say I played a lot of Rodgers-Cobb stacks, and I was very happy with all of them. The reason I did was because, well, Kansas City, no, here's the reason. Kansas City has given up more fantasy points to wide receivers this year by a mile than any other team in the NFL. It's not even close. It's not even close. They're giving it up to wide receivers. Okay, let me just skip what I was going to say there because it's probably thoroughly inappropriate. But they are giving it up big time.
You can do it.
No. All right, they're giving it up big time. I'll think of a better analogy.
Oh, do it. I know. Just do it. Just say it. Just say it and get it over.
Here, let me give you a lead there. You can't tease us like that because it's just blue balls.
It involved Drake and prison. Okay, there you go. That's Kansas City. You see where my mind goes. This is why I'm a horrible host. Kansas City they can't, for whatever reason, I don't know why. Their defense is actually as an NFL defense, they're not bad. But for whatever reason, hold on, I'm going to get the exact numbers up here. For whatever reason, Kansas City is simply, okay, Chiefs against quarterback, giving up 24 points a game, tied for the Saints with worst in the league. Okay, against wide receiver, though, this is where it just blows me away.
Yeah.
Fantasy points per game given up to opposing wide receivers. What do you think the Chiefs are at? Just random ballpark guess.
I know what the answer is, so I'm going to keep my mouth.
League average is around 20 points a game to wide receivers. So that's what the league average is.
24.
Wait, what's the league average for number one wide receivers? Give them that one.
So, well, hold on a second. Mark, what was your guess?
24.
Okay, flip those numbers. That's what the Chiefs are giving up per game. 42 points a game to opposing wide receivers, okay? So now Andy Dalton, Marvin Jones, and AJ Green are coming to town. All right. This is gonna be like, this is gonna be
this trio.
Right, I know. This is gonna be I don't even
before the season, did you think that's a trio that we were ever gonna talk about like so highly?
Yes.
No, it was gonna be
dominant trio of Andy Dalton, Marvin Jones, and AJ Green. Well, look, you knew AJ Green was good, but
yes.
So the point is, where I'm going with all this is that the soulless ginger is a fantastic play this week. He's going up against the defense that is giving up, tied for the most points against fantasy quarterbacks, and by a mile the most points against opposing wide receivers. Kansas City's got to get something figured out. I don't get it, but I think Dalton is at 5,900. You said isn't that just like nearing must-play territory?
Yeah, it's close.
So I'm gonna throw a little counter argument at you.
Wait, time out. Just before you do, because we're still on the subject of what they've given up. The wide receiver 1 on each team in full point PPR leagues. DeAndre Hopkins, 32.8. Emmanuel Sanders, 28.7. Demaryius also had 19.6. Randall Cobb, 35.3. Those are without the bonuses on DraftKings. That's
Right. So,
going against basically number 1 receivers.
AJ Green is just going to be. I mean, the thought is he's going to go off, right? He's going to go off.
Hope so.
Reception.
So
if you look at just receptions to wide receivers, so forget points. 21 receptions to the Houston wide receiving core. Okay. Now, most of our listeners can probably name DeAndre Hopkins, and that's the only wide receiver they can name on Houston. Okay. No offense, listeners, you guys are smart. That's probably not true. Denver, 20 receptions. Green Bay, 16 receptions to wide receiver. So this is just, I mean, they're giving up not only points, but to Alex's point about the PPR, the full point PPR, they're giving up receptions like
hot
right?
cake. Like hot cake.
So,
Terrible.
okay, so let me play a little counter argument here, right? So for the first 3 weeks of the season, their number 1 cornerback has been suspended. They finally get him back, right? That if you look at Demaryius's game, right? Look at Peyton Manning's drive against Kansas City. That final drive. Look at what Aaron Rodgers did all game. They picked on their number 2 and number 3 cornerbacks, who are crap.
Yeah,
Right?
that guy
Marcus Peters
was getting lit.
Mark,
Cooper?
he was, and it's been that way the entire season so far. So if they get him on the field, then yes, I could see Dalton kind of picking on him again. But to have Sean Smith back, Marcus Peters being an immediate impact first-round pick for them, I'm calling it here. I'm going to avoid Andy Dalton actually this week because I think this may be a trap game for Cincy, seeing as how they just whooped up on a Ravens squad that had 0 pass rush. Now they've got to face Tom Bahali, D Ford, and Justin Houston coming at them. I think KC can actually, with Sean Smith coming back, I think they can actually stop Dalton.
That is a very, very valid point.
But does he make a big enough difference to go from literally dead last in the league and not even close? You know, dead last in the league against quarterback, dead last in the league against wide receiver. Now, to your point though, Mark, one area where we've always seen Dalton struggle, he's always struggled against a good pass rush, right? So, exactly. I mean, regardless of what the numbers state, you just have to look at it from an actual football perspective. He has always struggled against a good pass rush. I'm still not sure that, like, does this really matter enough to go from dead last against wide receivers and quarterbacks? You got to figure there's still value here, right? Is there not still value, or is the pass rush too much to be afraid of?
So 5,900. I mean, I'm still looking at it as
I love it as a
tournament. Have to give you all that much, right? He doesn't have to give you all that much to hit that value. If you're going for a cash game, you want 3x. He doesn't have to do all that much. I think what Alex, you just said, as a tournament play, for me, that's the only way I'll touch him as a tournament play because I really think that he has the potential to throw for 3 or 4 touchdowns, perhaps. But like you said, Pete, with that pass rush, who we saw Aaron Rodgers avoid, and he had to move around a lot in that pocket, and his movement in and out of the pocket last night was incredible. That's something that I don't see Dalton doing. I think they can actually get to him. I think Sean Smith coming back has a huge impact. I mean, not one to the point where Dalton's going to throw for like less than 100 yards or anything like that. I think he can still have 200 yards, 2 touchdowns type of day, but it's not going to be the same performance that we saw last week. With an actual pass rush, there's no way Dalton has the time to throw for 400 yards on that defense. I can't see it happening that way.
That's fair.
He hasn't faced a real pass rush yet, so we'll see. We'll see what the Soulless Ginger does.
All right. Well, the Soulless Ginger has taken enough of our time. Let's move on to Ty God Taylor, sitting up there in Buffalo. He is 5,800 on DraftKings, 7,600 on FanDuel. They take on the Giants this weekend. The Giants travel to Buffalo, so Tyrod will be at home. Last week, he went for 21 for 29, 277 yards, 3 touchdowns, though, at Miami. He also added 12 yards on the ground. His salary stayed the exact same on DraftKings, $5,800. week over week. So, Alex, tell me, you saw Matt Ryan and Julio Jones light up this Giants defense. What makes you like Tyrod Taylor? I mean, he doesn't have that type of Julio connection with any of the receivers that we've seen just far.
I don't care. He's lighting it up right now. Absolutely lighting it up right now. He's running the ball. He's hitting everybody. He's basically played without Sammy Watkins for 2 of the 3 games and is lighting it up regardless. So I'm assuming that Sammy's going to be out again. He's got Clay. Apparently Percy Harvin's a thing again, which just makes me just throw up. Robert Woods, everybody forgot about Robert Woods. Robert Woods can play. And Chris Hogan, who's not even related to Hulk Hogan, is acting like he's Hulk Hogan on the field. So he has options. Don't do that. He's playing big. He's also got
first touchdown of his career, and Alex is already slurping him. I get it.
He's doing better than anyone would ever have thought, and he's a big guy. Whatever.
I will not argue with you there.
And he's got one back this time. Shady's out. He only has to worry about Carlos. So Carlos, they're gonna throw the ball a little bit more just to preserve Carlos a little bit. Not Carlos is.
That's a good point.
But
that's a good point. But let me cut you off there real quick. Don't you think that Carlos being back kind of takes away maybe some of the red zone rushing appeal of Tyrod?
He hasn't had a rushing touchdown, or he had 1 rushing touchdown. And it was against the Patriots.
Okay.
I don't care. He's throwing the ball, and he's been solid. For that cheap, for a guy that consistently is hitting 18+ points, yeah, I'm good with it against a terrible defense.
Okay.
Terrible.
Pete, any counter argument there?
No, I mean the big thing here is it's first of all Taylor is a very good floor. Okay. The fact that his value didn't change at all on DraftKings is just astounding to me. His scoring floor is very high, so you're not really risking a lot playing him. Then when you look at the matchup, the Giants last week gave up 316 passing yards to Kirk Cousins. Okay? 316 yards through the air was their lowest they gave up on the season. They gave up 363 to Matt Ryan and 356 to Tony Romo. So they haven't given up less than 300 yards to an opposing passer yet. The matchup is fantastic. His floor is low, and his price remains low. So I think Taylor is another great play this week, and even cheaper than Dalton. In fact, if we were doing a Hoosier Bay, I would stack up Dalton and Taylor right next to each other. And despite all the stats I just rattled off about how bad Kansas City has been, I think I'd still play Taylor this week.
Wow, way to give us a little lead into Thursday's show. I like it. We might have to have you elaborate a little bit on that, on Who's Your Bay.
But you see, we're so structured, Mark. We even have lead-ins and segues and all that thing.
See that? It doesn't get better than that. I love it. See, once again, like I said, you're a better host than I am. You're not even hosting the show yet, but you're a better host than I am already.
Thursday yet. You haven't even seen Thursday's show yet.
I haven't even seen Thursday's show.
It was the weirdest. It went from Hoosier Bay into, all right, let's just construct a cash lineup for everybody.
I also had a story about a dream. My dream told me to start Duke Johnson.
Okay.
I should elaborate on that. I actually did not end up starting Duke Johnson. I decided to ignore my dream.
If you thought we went off the rails Tuesday, you haven't watched Thursday.
Okay. I'll definitely. I got it. I'm watching Thursdays now. It's settled. Even though we're a week in arrears, I gotta watch it. All right. So
really,
that's it on Ty God. My one final question, I guess, to you, Alex. Taylor has ran more weeks 1 and 2 because we were in closer games, right? Mm-hmm. Week 3, he only ran, I think it was 3 times. Do you think Buffalo has the potential to put this one away kind of early, like they did against Miami? And if so, will that be on the ground with Williams? Won't that hurt Tyrod's value, or are you not worried about that still?
I'm not worried about it. I think maybe a little bit of his upside comes off, but did the same thing against Miami. He threw for 3 touchdowns.
Same floor.
So,
okay.
Like
I got
his floor is 3x value, I think. Maybe a little bit lower.
Especially at that price, especially at 5,800. Again, 5,800 DraftKings, 7,600 FanDuel.
Touchdowns and 200 yards is 16 points already. Like, he's going to do better than 200 yards, in my opinion. He's going to run a little bit. 2 touchdowns is like a conservative amount. Don't overthink it. Tyrod's a good play, and he is stupid upside in tournaments.
All right. Let's move on to our next quarterback, a man who is traveling to Chicago this week after just lighting up the Browns, Mr. Derek Carr of the Oakland Raiders. He threw for 314 yards last week for 2 touchdowns. Got you 23 fantasy points on DraftKings at a $5,300 salary, so his salary stayed the same on DraftKings week over week. He's got a 5-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. The Bears just traded away their, I don't know if he was their best pass rusher, but their most experienced pass rusher, right? I'll let Pete take this one in a second.
He's not paying attention right now. I don't even know what that.
Oh no, I got it. It's like suck for luck, but
got it.
For golf, maybe.
He's like put like half of it's in the screen, half of it's not. All right, got it.
There we go. For the folks watching, hopefully you got that entire scroll. The Bears' #1 pick, Pete is
just
well, I was trying. That was going to be my tagline today.
But ours aren't working, Mark.
But it's not working for some reason. Mark comes back and just. You know what it was? He probably watched Star's stupid taglines and was like, "That's it." Those guys lost.
You got me there. I'm telling you, yeah, you went off the rails, so I'm taking it away. You guys better be on your best behavior in order if you want to get that.
Well, you know what, Mark? You can't take away my tagline, but you can't take away my freedom. So my tagline was going to be Bears' #1 overall pick, 2016, Jared Goff. Because they're that bad. They're terrible. And we just traded away our starting, I guess he's an outside linebacker, Jared Allen. They're trying to call him an outside linebacker. And our starting inside linebacker, John Bostic. So, I mean, I don't know who's going to, are they going to give, John Fox a jersey or something maybe? I'm not sure. But they're terrible. David Carr, I think, is a great play. All you need to know about David Carr this week is he's playing the Bears, and they can't guard anybody. And... okay, you know who's going to be on, Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree are going up against Kyle Fuller and Alan Ball.
Who's the second one now? What?
Exactly.
Huh?
And you know what? Fuller is a name you've probably heard of. He was their
number one last year,
but he has not been playing well. He has not been playing well. So I think that Cooper and Crabtree are both going to feast. I think Carr is a great value play. And, hey, Jared Goff, Bears fans are waiting. We'll see you soon.
Okay, so
2016. Bears are going to be 0-16, and that's perfect. That's actually what I'm hoping for. Look, if you saw what the Cubs did, all you got to do is lose for a while, and you'll eventually be good. Just keep losing until you're good. It's a brilliant plan, and it works. So, and you know what? Ryan Pace knows it. Ryan Pace is going to be okay. He's the next Theo Epstein. We're good. Play David Carr this week.
So
all right. I just
Alex,
want to add. Like the whole Rivers thing that I brought up earlier about them going across on the
That's
East.
exactly what I was going to say. So go ahead.
But they were on at 1 p.m. against Cleveland last week, and Cooper and Carr went off. So I am actually not, because I genuinely thought about it for a little while, thinking this could be a big mistake. They're going across, and then I looked at the stats, wait, they played the 1 o'clock game last week, and Amari Cooper just had a field day. So I'm okay with this still, because as long as he throws the ball to Cooper, he's gonna hit 3x.
So, okay, you took what I was gonna say, in terms of the traveling thing, because we did touch on that briefly. But my one question, I guess, to both of you, give me a one-word answer: is Carr playable in cash this week?
You want to go first?
Alex first.
Oh, damn it. Yeah, but you don't have to.
I mean, I said one word.
The answer is yes, but
Alright.
There
But
we'll get through everything and probably more in depth on Thursday, but you're not going to need to with the slate that's.
all right, Pete, is he playable in cash for you?
Um, yeah. This week, I think so. I think his floor is decent enough that he's playable. Here's my concern. This is my concern with Carr and Cash.
Mhm.
The Bears, we saw what they're going to do. They're going to run the ball, and they're going to drain the clock. So the question is ultimately going to, and it's not like the Raiders have a fantastic run defense, right? So to me, the downside here is this could just be one of those ugly, low-scoring games. And I don't know what that does to Carr's floor, especially because the Bears also can't stop the run. And if you can just hand the ball off to Murray the whole game, I'm going to actually say no. He is not playable in cash this year.
Okay, interesting.
You yell at me,
Let's
all I
see.
said is yes, but you don't have to, and he goes into a long-winded one
Well,
word.
because I still let you go on, so I have to let him go on.
Nah.
Also,
Got it.
you're
got
more
it.
fun to yell at.
Also, I have a valid point.
Hey, I did too.
You just keep talking.
All right. Oh. All right. I think we are done with our quarterbacks for the week.
You don't want to talk about Michael Vick, huh?
Oh man, I really do. I really do.
I don't. Good.
All right,
I would have loved to see Alex's card on Michael Vick.
Oh my God.
What would that have said, Alex? What would your card have been for Michael Vick?
I think I would have combined Michael Vick and Tyrod Taylor's cards to say Tyrod Taylor has Michael Vick upside. Michael Vick has Tyrod Taylor upside when he was backing up Joe Flacco. Sitting on the bench.
That sucks. That sucks.
Man.
All right, so let's move on from quarterbacks then. Let's hit up our first running back of the night. Let's see if we can move through this. If not, we'll have to do a little lightning round like you guys did last week. I like that a lot. Frank Gore is our first man coming out of the backfield. 4,700 in DraftKings, 7,300 in FanDuel. Last week at Tennessee, he toted the rock 14 times for 86 yards, scored twice, his first 2 rushing touchdowns of the season, first 2 touchdowns period of the season. And as a result, his salary went up a whole $200. He's hosting the Colts themselves, are hosting the Jags this weekend. So a Jags defense that's got a pretty stout front seven. Why are we thinking Frank Gore is going to light him up for some value this weekend, Alex?
They gave up 4 rushing touchdowns. I know it was against the Patriots, but they still gave up 4 rushing touchdowns last week. They're not playing the Bills or the Jets, which means Frank Gore will have space to run a little bit more than he has been. So he had a great week last week with the 2 rushing touchdowns and had a pretty decent yardage day. I expect it to continue, especially at that low of a price to get a workhorse. Yeah, I'm down.
Pete, any contrarian argument before I step in?
My only complaint about Gore is the same thing I brought up last week, which is he doesn't catch many passes. When I play running backs on DraftKings especially, I look for cheap running backs who catch passes because that really elevates their ceiling, that elevates their upside, and it also elevates their floor, which you want to do both. So my only complaint about Gore is he's only caught 4 passes through 3 weeks, despite being the feature back. Now that said, one thing Alex and I both talked about last week was the Colts are back in the AFC South now, right? Welcome back to the AFC South where everybody sucks. So you can do whatever the hell you want. So from that regard, they're going to be up, probably. Of course, we thought that again against Tennessee last week, and they weren't. Should have lost the game. But for the sake of argument, let's just say Jacksonville is as bad as they seem to be. The Colts are going to be up. They're probably going to run. I like Gore for at least a touchdown. My only complaint is he doesn't catch passes.
So you took my counter argument. Exactly that. He's got 4 catches on the year. I really thought he came into catch more than run, essentially. I thought he was going to be that safety net for Luck out of the backfield, but it doesn't seem to be using him like that so far this year. So I'm with you there, but again, at that 4.7K price, I mean, it's on DraftKings, it's pretty cheap for someone who's going to get, he's barring injury, guaranteed double-digit touches, and that be, or, touches plus targets, right? So to have that type of guarantee is pretty good, pretty nice to have. But I'm with you there, Pete. He's not getting enough catches out of the backfield, and on DraftKings or FanDuel, where you're getting an extra bonus for that reception, it's nice to have that kind of a base there with you. And it also helps, once again, Pete, with a beautiful lead into our next player.
Wait.
Players like Danny Woodhead. What?
I just wanted to say that, I think it was more game plan specific that he wasn't catching the ball. I think this offense is
3 games in a row.
Yeah, but they played the Bills and the Jets where they just got flabbergasted, where they couldn't get him the ball at all. And last week they
really surprised, Alex. So we're like, oh my God, it's a Bill and a Jet.
They were flabbergasted. I would be flabbergasted if I lost.
Bills and Jets on the field. Who would have thought there'd be all these Bills and Jets on the field? So they were flabbergasted. Go ahead.
I can't. You ruined it. You ruined the moment.
I'm sorry. It was flabbergasted.
Wait, I've got to ask really quick. Let me ask really quick. Pete, are you drinking milk?
Yep.
There's no way it's just milk, though. There's no chance.
No, it's legitimately just milk.
I don't believe you.
I went out last night to watch Monday Night Football, and then my girlfriend made me stay out real late. So I can't do it 2 nights in a row, man. I just can't. Not on a weeknight.
So drinking milk helps?
Yeah, right?
Milk come into the picture.
What? It's great. Healthy and flavorful.
Oh, God. All right.
I also have some. I got a trail mix here with some cherries and chocolate and nuts and stuff.
Good for you, man. Good for you. You're living the dream. Milk and nuts.
What I'm saying. You can beat it.
All right. Let's
score
move
of the
on to the
Giants?
man himself. What's the score? Oh no! I think you took us off the rails. Uh-oh. I think your milk definitely got me.
You brought it up. You're supposed to be the voice of reason here, Mark, and keeping us on track. Asking me about milk.
Hey, I'm sorry. It does a body good. I'll leave it to you.
We've finally
I'll give it to you. All right.
We've finally broken him. He's no longer.
It could just be the good vibes. It could just be the good vibes from Mexico still. So thank you guys for keeping me there before I head back to work tomorrow, which is going to be a very brutal day. So, okay, deep breath. Let's get back on the rails here, and let's head over back to San Diego. Alex's good man who hooked him up week 1 with a couple of touchdowns, Danny Woodhead, whose salary is slowly but surely crawling up there. He's sitting at $4,600 right now on DraftKings, $6,100 on FanDuel. Guy that's getting, maybe, what's he averaging, 25 carries over 3 games. So he's averaging 8 carries a game, plus he's getting more out of the backfield in terms of catches. Talk to me here. Cleveland, rush D is usually pretty bad. Do we think this is Danny Woodhead's job to get them out of the backfield? We think he's actually going to score in the red zone. What do you think this week? Which one? Alex, sorry.
Oh, all of the above. I mean, he's back at home. They're a better offense at home. They're going to be in front. He's the third down back, and he's still the goal line back. Gordon's going to own the areas between the 20s, but Woodhead is still the guy in between the 20s until it's an absolute blowout. I think this offense needs to get back to what they were doing that worked, because last week was just a dumpster fire, and it starts with getting Woodhead and Stevie Johnson involved to open up everything else.
So for $300 more, though, Pete, you can go for Melvin Gordon, who's getting 15 carries a game, and a Cleveland defense which has been giving it up on the ground. Do you think Gordon can actually take one in from outside the red zone this week? Because it seems that's going to be the only way he gets into the end zone this year.
Actually, I think so. So that's sort of where I was going to go with this one. Is I think this is a week where I'm not using Woodhead. I've used Woodhead every week of the first 3, and I've used him a lot, and he's done well for me, particularly in weeks 1 and 2. Not so much week 3. I think this is a Melvin Gordon game. You know, you like Woodhead for the same reason you dislike Gore, which is he catches passes. But this is a Melvin Gordon game. You can run on Cleveland. More than likely, playing at home, the Chargers are going to be up in this game. So I think this is a Melvin Gordon game, and I think this is even a Melvin Gordon red zone game. You know, they've been bringing him along. They've been giving him more and more touches each week. He would have had even more touches last week if they didn't sit him down in the fourth quarter when they were being blown out. So the problem is, even though I believe this is a Melvin Gordon game, I don't want to use him. I don't want to use him or Woodhead. I don't want to use Gordon because of the lack of pass catching and the potential lack of red zone usage, even though I do think he'll get some looks there this week. And I don't want to use Woodhead because I think they're going to get ahead. I think this is a big Gordon game. This is a week where I think in DFS, I'm staying away from both of them. In regular fantasy, I'm playing both of them, but in DFS, I don't like either of them this week. Alex, am I wrong here?
In cash, I think you're right, but I still think Woodhead sees enough volume to make it worth it. Like I still think he can get double-digit points, not even breaking a sweat, even if he doesn't get a touchdown. But I do agree. But I also can see Gordon having one of those games where he goes like 15 carries, 140 yards, but no touchdown.
I'd rather, if this was a tournament play, I'd rather use Melvin Gordon this week. Higher upside,
fine.
Much higher upside, much lower usage.
Ownership rate, you mean?
I'm with you.
Right.
I'm with you on that one, Pete. Yep.
Yeah, ownership rate, not usage.
All right.
I mean, I'm not against it by any means. But I mean, Woodhead is Woodhead. Woodhead basically just gets the two checkpoints that you look for in DFS. It's catches and it's red zone touches. So that's why we
Although I personally believe this, call it just a hunch. I think that changes this week against Cleveland because you can run on them so easily, and because I think they're going to be up. And in both of those cases, I think they're going to give Gordon a few touches in the red zone, a few opportunities. Because they want him, they want to be able to use him there anyway, right? So if you're ahead against a bad defense, why not start integrating him? That's why I like him as a better tournament play.
I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but they did come out and say that they do eventually want to get him those red zone touches, but he just wasn't there at that time. So I'm with you. I think this could be the first week that he actually gets it, and this could be the first week that he gets in the end zone. I agree with you there. As much as I didn't like him in college because he would repeatedly torch my boys.
We play each other this week, Mark. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yo,
let's go. Number 2 defense in the nation right now. Let's do this.
We suck.
Can't wait for payback.
You have no idea how. I don't care. You can beat us this year. We kicked your ass last year.
Can't wait for payback.
For a while.
You no such thing as kicking our ass, but you beat us at home and you stormed the field afterwards. Congratulations. So let's move on to the next running back. I would love to continue talking about. For those who don't know, I'm a big Michigan Wolverine man. Alex is a Maryland Terp. Can we call you that?
Yeah, I mean, you could say Terrapin, like you were official with yours, but forgot.
Yeah, but I didn't want to be. You're like a redheaded stepchild. You're like a soulless ginger of the Big Ten.
No. Yeah, see us in basketball and then say that again. I dare you. I dare you to call me a stepchild when we're kicking your ass in basketball.
No, I won't. I will be very silent when you guys are beating us in basketball.
Oh yeah, you will.
But football, I'm going to be very vocal. So that's the quick backstory.
You can do that as long as Ed Saul's the coach, because he's terrible. He is so bad, and he is like the skinniest man on the planet.
The weird thing is, though, he brought Connecticut to
dude, I know,
bowl games and top 25 rankings, and now you've got the power of a bigger, better school, and you can't.
Not only that,
I don't get it.
Not only that, we are the Under Armour school. we're the Under Armour school.
Right.
So,
That's
like, it should be so much easier. And I will say that Melo Trimble did make it easy. I know he's played basketball, but he basically made the whole DMV movement like a thing. So we have a quarterback coming next year. But apparently, right before we got on the podcast, I got an ESPN alert saying that Edsall used a Forrest Gump quote in a team meeting today and misinterpreted the meaning and just completely destroyed the team meeting today. This season is an absolute disaster. I just end the pain. Just end the pain.
Oh boy.
For that. All right, I'm done. I can't talk about their football team anymore.
All right. That'll be, maybe we can go off the rails Thursday again and talk more.
Please don't.
But all right, let's hop back on the NFL train. We've got Philly going to Washington this weekend, and our first running back. Let me list them both off, and then you can kind of. I guess I'll go to Pete first on this. You can pick your poison there. We've got Darren Sproles sitting at 4,500 on DraftKings, 6,000 on FanDuel, and Ryan Matthews sitting at 3,800 on DraftKings, 5,900 on FanDuel. A Washington team that's got a decent front seven, right? When it's healthy, it's a decent front seven. So, which one do you actually think will hit value, if either, this week, Pete?
If either, probably Sproles, I'm gonna say. And a big part of the reason for that is, when the news came out Murray wasn't playing last week, I got Matthews in as many lineups as I could. I thought he was going to have a nice day, and he did. He easily made value. He was a good tournament play as well. From what I've heard so far, and you need to check back on this, again, if Murray's out, I think Matthews is reasonable. I think Murray plays this week, and that just kills both of their value. Washington's front seven is not bad. They're actually quite good. So the way to beat them is through the air. Sproles is the guy through the air for Philadelphia. So Sproles has a chance to, but honestly, this week I might try my best to stay away from all of the Eagles' running backs. If I have to play one, I'm probably playing Sproles at 4,500 because of the catches. If DeMarco Murray is out, I'm playing Matthews at 3,800 for sure. But if Murray's playing, I might roll the dice on Sproles. Definitely not a cash game play, maybe a tourney play. Alex, Mark ran away, so what do you want to talk about?
I would say, I put this in just because if Murray doesn't play, then they're both great play. Because, what they both did together against my Jets defense, which is rock solid, especially against the run, and they were able to accomplish that much between two of them, both of them, that if Murray's out again, you can roll with either one and feel pretty comfortable about it. But if Murray's playing, avoid except for Sproles in a tournament, I would say. But if it's all based on if Murray is playing or not. So keep an eye on that. Don't plan on using either of them, but if Murray's out, you can use either or.
Right. Yeah, that's sort of what it comes down to for me as well. Is, on the show last week, we made a couple lineups. We made one lineup and we switched it around a bit. We talked about guys who we liked. But, also pay attention to the fact that we're saying, this is contingent on this.
Yeah.
Our recommendation is contingent on this. Out of I think I had about between 12 and 15 tourney lineups last week that I played. Out of those, I would say I changed 8 to 10 of them Sunday morning. When I woke up, I looked at the inactives, I followed the news. I changed 8 to 10 of them, and sometimes multiple players within those 8 to 10 lineups. I changed and moved around. So, Bilal Powell, for example. I played Bilal Powell in a few lineups. I played the guy we're talking about, Ryan Matthews, in a few lineups. So, yeah, watch the show, see who we like, but you've also got to really watch those early news on Sunday. Watch that early news on Sunday.
Did you tinker stinker?
I did. I really tinkered one particular lineup. That would have been beautiful. It was one of my Cobb Rogers stacks, okay? So get this. It was a Cobb Rogers stack, and guess what I did? So first, I swapped out. I took A.J. Green out, and I put Julian Edelman in, okay? And the reason I did that was because I could save $200 somewhere else and take Larry Fitzgerald out and put Brandon Marshall in. So I could have had a lineup with both AJ Green and Larry Fitzgerald in it, and instead I had Brandon Marshall and Julian Edelman plus my Cobb Rogers stack. Imagine if I would have had my Cobb Rogers stack plus AJ Green plus Larry Fitzgerald.
Nuts. But I keep making
Wow.
the league jokes because like I know you just don't get them, and it's
I don't watch
lovely.
I don't get it either.
Mark, you missed it. Neither of you haven't watched the league either.
You know, I've never heard
No.
Tinker's Finger. I had to think about it for a second to try to figure out what exactly you were referencing there, because you could go a lot of different directions. But, you know, in the context of DFS, I was able to follow.
It's exactly what you think it means. Like you're tinkering on the stinker. You mess with your lineups while you're dropping your kids off.
Right.
I mean,
Okay.
I do that. I do that all the time.
Okay, so you tinker stinker. So it's again a league reference that Pete still doesn't get because he refuses to watch the show because he thinks he might be a person.
Nah, it's all right. I don't watch it either, but I will. It's one show that it's on my list.
I would watch a TV show when I probably live it. Like, I probably live the experience that is that TV show.
That's why it'd be so much more fun to watch.
Very true. All right, and just to go back, I also don't watch South Park. So if you guys ever want to go off the rails on that, that's all you guys.
Yeah, you can just sit there and be quiet then if that happens.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys were able to talk about that and have that nice moment last week. But now
You like it?
let's.
You like it, Mark?
I did like it.
We call it Mr. and Mrs. Milano chili.
Oh boy. See.
Oh my god, I love it! Can I taste your fingers, Mark? Can I taste them?
We're gonna go
Oh,
on
they're
to
so good.
we're gonna go on to Lance Dunbar here. He's a guy who last week at 3,200 got you 23 points on DraftKings. He caught 10 balls out of the backfield. That seems to be the only thing that he's doing on this offense now, catching balls out of the backfield and out of the slot. 3,600 on DraftKings this week. 56 on FanDuel. Going into New Orleans, into the Dome, night game. What are we thinking, Alex? Are you think that they're actually going to be able to run the ball so that lessens Dunbar's usage, or are we still able to hit value even if he is used that much less?
This is what I think. I think Brandon Weeden went, 22 of 26, and 10 of those targets went to Dunbar. So Weeden's terrible.
He had such a high.
Just down to Dunbar, or he will incomplete, or it won't be complete. Is basically what is going to happen. So he needs Dunbar more than anything. Like that is his safety valve in this offense. For them
It's a
to
security
even
blanket.
compete, he needs him.
All right, so I want to give you my thoughts on Dunbar, but first I have two comments regarding Brandon Weeden. Don't start laughing. I haven't even made the comments yet.
Because I just know where this is going, and I can't wait.
All right. First, is it just me? Did you guys watch the Dallas Cowboys press conference after the game with Brandon Weeden? Probably not, because why the hell would you, right? Okay.
Yeah, I think that was just you. Like the only person in the nation. It was probably you.
Well, you know, I do weird things from time to time. One of them was
Yeah, like drink milk.
drink milk during the podcast. It's right here. I still got some. So, first thought on Brandon Weeden. He looks like he's like 47. Like, I remember when he came into the league, he was drafted as a rookie. He was like a 27-year-old rookie, right?
28.
28.
Yeah.
He's been in the league 2 years, and he's aged 19 years. How the hell is that possible? Like, I didn't think that was legitimate. Like, how does that happen? Okay, second thought.
3 years just
Oh.
during the draft process.
Right, yeah, he's like, oh, okay. Second thought. You guys ever remember that there was this old NBA player who, his name was, I can't remember it. His nickname was Big Country, and he played for the Vancouver Grizzlies. You know what I'm talking about? Like Bryant something, I don't know. Look up, Google Big Country for me here, Alex. What the hell was his name?
There's also there was a
Ryan Reeves?
Big Country.
Yeah, Bryant Reeves, I think, right? Is that his name?
Bryant Reeves.
Bryant Reeves,
Played for
okay.
Vancouver,
Now
yeah.
go look at a picture of Bryant Reeves, okay?
Looking.
Right? Here's what I think. I think, like, that's Brandon Weeden. Like, I'm pretty convinced, because he's old enough to have had a career in the NBA back in the early 2000s and still be quarterbacking the Cowboys. I think this is like one of those, like, what do they call it? When you, like,
Look like Brian Reeves.
Okay. So, regardless, though, I think we should nickname Brandon Whedon should be. He should have the nickname Big Country. Brandon Big Country.
Little Country.
Okay?
Little Country.
Yeah.
Old Country.
What?
Old Country.
Old Country.
So if you guys ever hear me say Big Country, I'm talking about Brandon Whedon, all right? So Mark is exactly right. Alex is right. Big Country can only hit running backs. It's probably because his knees are bad from all those years with the Grizzlies, all right? So he can only hit running backs. He can't really move that well. He's kind of old and slow. And so yeah, Dunbar's gonna catch passes. I can't bring this back. Once I go to Big Country, once you go Big Country, you can't come back. All right, you can't come back from that.
Oh my God.
Wait, hold on. I said that the other Big Country.
I was really down on Big Country and the Cowboys last week. Anytime somebody asked me an advice question about the Cowboys, I was like, dude, Big Country's starting at quarterback. I don't think you can play a Cowboy this week. And then Joseph Randle goes off. Dunbar catches some passes. I think even Jason Witten had a nice week. You know what it is? I think it's those somehow that 7-foot Canadian Vancouver Grizzly basketball old man strength has reared its ugly head in Dallas.
Oh.
Yo, please.
I can't even.
The link. Click the link that I sent you guys in the chat.
Okay, I'm clicking it.
That's the other
Hang
Big
on,
Country.
So.
Oh my God, dude, they're all the same person. They're all the same person.
So just to show everybody what we're looking at.
They're all the same person. Look above. You can see, no, put that back up there, Mark. Above the middle, you can see a picture of Big Country Reeves playing basketball. And he looks identical to the MMA fighter. And they both look exactly like Brandon Whedon with the clean-shaved face. See that?
Oh my God.
They're all one. They're one and the same.
So to those viewing, you get,
Like the Nutty
our viewing
Professor.
pleasure here as well.
Playing a bunch of roles, right?
Oh my God. That was fantastic. So wait, what did we decide? Is he Little Country, Big Country, Old Country?
I gotta go Old Country.
Right. Old Country? All right.
Old Country.
So Old Country to Dunbar is going to get you a lot of receptions. I don't know if it'll get you a touchdown this week.
It never gets you a
If Drew
touchdown.
Brees plays,
Brandon Whedon can't throw touchdowns.
but if Drew Brees plays, this could be like legitimately the high points game of the week. If Drew Brees plays, like, this could be the highest scoring game of the week.
Cannot throw it. It's like contractual.
Country can throw the swing pass to the halfback. Learn that in Canada.
In his contract, Brandon Whedon is not allowed to throw touchdowns. Like, I don't know where you're getting this high score of the week thing from.
But he is allowed to dunk.
No, but NFL rules don't let you dunk anymore.
That's right, he can't. Unless he wants a 15-yard penalty.
He can knock out Cheat Congo. That's all he can do.
Oh my God. All right, so Lance Dunbar, potential valve for big old Little Country coming out of the backfield. And yeah, at that price, it's easy for him to hit value, especially if they go down. I like what you said there at the end, kind of bringing it back. And Breeze, if he plays, it's a huge opportunity for outlet passes for him to get. So let's move on. Our last running back of the night, and then we're going to go lightning round for, I believe, receiver and tight end. As lightning as we can get it anyway.
Can we lightning round this last running back? Because I think everybody in the world knows he's a must play, right?
Yeah, I was just going to say he's basically cash. He's going to be a chalk play.
He's in your lineup no matter what. That's it.
Right.
Like, has to be in your lineup. Cash, tournament, doesn't matter.
When we say chalk, that's typically what we mean, that a lot of people are going to be playing him, and he's essentially good for any type of lineup that you're going to set. So at $3,400, starting running back for the Bills will be Carlos Williams. $3,400 on DraftKings, $6,300 on FanDuel. Coming against the Giants, we kind of mentioned it with Ty Gott earlier. anything we really need to know anymore? Be everywhere, play, period. We good?
I just have the one thing to say about chalk plays, not about Carlos.
No.
Just that
Oh, okay.
in cash, you have to play the chalk play, just because if he does poorly, everyone else is going to have to deal with him playing poorly. Whereas if he goes off, and if you don't have him, you're going to feel like an asshole. So you have to have him in your lineup just so he doesn't hurt you, because he will.
Well, not just feel like an asshole. You're likely going to lose.
Yeah, you'll feel like an asshole, and you'll lose all your money. So play him.
And you'll lose your money.
If he does poorly, who cares? If he does great, awesome. You're just back on par with everybody else.
Exactly. All right. We're going to move on to a lightning round for wide receivers. I don't really know. You guys kind of did, make your argument for him, counter argument. We'll try that. Alex making the argument for, Pete making the argument against, unless I kind of decide to switch it up, and which I probably will with the second guy. But let's kick off the lightning round with Dante Moncrief. 5,000 on DraftKings, 6,300 on FanDuel. Salary kind of creeping up there as he gets into the end zone again last week. So he's now been in the end zone each week. Saw his fewest targets, fewest receptions, and fewest yards this past week against Tennessee. Jacksonville comes into town. They're playing at home again. So Alex, talk to me. Why do you like Moncrief again?
I just think right now he's their best wide receiver, even including Ty. He's probably the number one red zone threat right now, especially without other than Gore stealing goal line touches, he's the number one end zone target. So that plus I feel like last week was just not real. That was not real life for the Colts offense. He had a great game against the Jets. He had a great game week one, especially once Hilton left. I feel like he's the number two target in an Andrew Luck offense, and although we're probably off Andrew Luck as we should be from last week, he's still going to throw the ball, and he's still going to be Andrew Luck at some point, and I would rather play Moncrief while he's this low before he becomes like 6,500.
Pete, counter?
I really don't have a good counter. I think Moncrief's a good play this week. I guess my only counter is this. The Colts have looked pretty bad.
That offensive line looks like the Falcons from last year.
Moncrief did score, but if you watch the game, he scored late. Didn't do a whole lot in the first half. Colts just don't look good.
Luck threw the ball 12 times in the first half, I think.
Yeah, the Colts just don't look very good. He is a good value play.
Fewer, but yeah.
I think you can use that. I think he's a tournament play. I don't really have a good counter. I think everything Alex said is correct. I'm definitely not using him in cash.
No.
I probably will use him in a couple tournaments.
Okay. That is Dante Moncrief for you. Let's move on to our next man, Mr. Ruben Randall of the Giants, going into Buffalo this weekend. Last week he caught 7 for 116 and a touchdown against Washington. Now they've had 10 days to prepare for Buffalo and that better defense. Pete, are you liking Randall and his $4,500 price tag on DraftKings and $5,700 price tag on FanDuel?
I know I'm supposed to be the one making the argument for him, but I just can't. I don't like him, even at that price. I think last week was strictly a matchup thing. Washington, you beat in the air, and they're not a good defense against the pass. Buffalo's a much better defense. This is a road game. In my personal opinion, this has disaster written all over it for all of your fantasy giants. OBJ is not worth the price tag this week, in my opinion, although he's still the only usable giant. Ruben Randall definitely not going to find his way into any of my lineups this week. Alex, how about you?
I kind of agree that I probably wouldn't. I only tournament and maybe, especially with Victor Cruz coming back this week, but the one thing that I will say is Buffalo's been giving up points to wide receivers because either the Patriots have just destroyed them, or in the games that they were up, week 1 against Indy and last week against Miami, forces the teams to throw. Rashard Matthews went off last week. Moncrief had a very good week once, like we just said, after Hilton left. They both had really good weeks, and these are guys that aren't prototypical number ones, like Randall. Randall's the 2-3 outside receiver. he's not that number one guy that's kind of being shut down right now for their offense. I just think that matchup and just the fact that Buffalo's going to be up, they're going to need to throw the ball, and it's got to go to somebody, and I just don't see it being Odell matched up against their top corner.
Now, the one question I have is that with the release of Preston Parker, does Randall slide inside? Number one, actually, I'm going to have two questions.
It's Cruz.
We know if Randall slides inside, but Cruz comes back this week as well, right? We have to keep an eye on that. That's one of those things. Let's keep an eye on that for the rest of the week, because I think he came out earlier today and said, yeah, I'm definitely going to play, but there's no sufficient evidence. There's nothing that comes out, at least until tomorrow, to say that he's actually playing.
Well, regardless, Cruz is the slot guy. So whenever Cruz comes back, it's not like Ruben moves to the slot and Cruz goes. Cruz is a slot receiver. He's a explosive slot receiver, but he's a slot receiver.
He was an explosive slot receiver. We have yet to see if he will be again.
He will be a slot guy. That's just, he's not going to play the guy.
Sure, he'll be a slot guy, but let's say if he doesn't come back, does Randall slide in? Do you know that? I don't know, because I didn't really get a chance to watch the Thursday game.
No. Randall stays outside.
Randall's not a slot.
Okay.
Cruz
Randall's not a slot guy. Cruz is not an outside guy. They're going to stick to their roles. The targets will probably go down for Randall, but Randall's outside, Cruz is inside.
All right, let's move on to next wide receiver, Stevie Johnson. The Chargers, again, hosting the Browns. Stevie coming in at 4,400 on DraftKings, 58 on FanDuel. Only caught 3 for 46 last week, stayed out of the end zone, did not pay off in value last week. He probably torched about 20% of lineups.
Yeah, he's submarine
at least in the tournaments that I was in, it looked like he got hit or a lot of lineups got hit pretty badly. So, talk to me, Alex. Yay, nay on Stevie Johnson this week?
I feel like we've talked enough about this Chargers offense. I think they get it back into gear, and Stevie Johnson's a big part of that passing offense. They need to get him going to help Rivers out, especially if Ladarius doesn't play again. That's also why I thought Stevie was a great play last week, not considering the whole cross-country trip, was that without Ladarius, Stevie's basically that short guy, but so is Keenan Allen. But Stevie Johnson is a big part of this offense. He frees up extra space for Keenan and the run game. They need him to get involved, and him hitting value is pretty much, you can guarantee a win if he hits value for the Chargers.
See, you can guarantee a win if he hits value for the Chargers, but
no, if he's involved, I can promise you that the Chargers are going to win the game.
Okay, so Pete, do you think he's going to be involved, or do you think the defense actually shuts him down, which they couldn't do last week, again, like we talked about earlier with Cooper and Crabtree?
No, I think again, look, we liked Stevie last week. He backfired. He killed a couple of our lineups. I like him again this week. Sometimes you just have to recognize that it didn't work out, but it was still a good call. It's still a good value call. I think that's true this week. I think playing at home, they'll be better. And I think, if they're going to jump out to a lead, somebody's got to score. So, a lot of people say, oh, they'll be up big. They won't be throwing well. To get up big, you have to score. Yeah. So Stevie Johnson, I think, again, is a good value play. I think it's another good call this week. It's painful to play somebody who just burned you, but I do think he's a very good play again.
Plus, he doesn't have to see Joe Hayden.
Right, exactly. Hayden will be on Keenan Allen. So.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next wide receiver, Mr. Marvin Jones. We spoke about the soulless ginger who was throwing to him. Kansas City comes into Cincinnati this week. Jones sitting at 3,800 on DraftKings, 55 on FanDuel, caught 5 for 94 and a touchdown with that massive eruption, the Dalton eruption last week. Are we really thinking, we touched on it quite a bit earlier, so I don't think we really need to go into Kansas City's defense, but assuming Jones is he their number 3 now, Alex? Do you know, Pete?
No, he's the 2. He's always been the 2.
So, yeah. There's people thought maybe it would be Sanu again, but I think he's clearly overtaken him.
Yeah, so Jones overtook him 2 years ago, it's just he wasn't healthy.
So if Jones overtakes him, he then draws probably Marcus Peters, I'm guessing, or he draws.
He draws Peters. Sean Smith is probably on AJ if he's back.
Yeah, but I don't think their DBs shade the receiver across the field. I think they just take a section of the field, and if that's the case, he'll probably have one or the other, right? So
Even better.
are we thinking that Jones can overcome that? Can he produce to his value here? I mean, I don't know. Like I said earlier, I'm very skeptical of him repeating the entire team repeating this type of stat line. So go ahead, Pete.
Well, they definitely. I don't think that they're a good bet to repeat. I agree with you. You know, the argument here is that when you're giving up this many points to opposing passing games, something is wrong schematically. One player can't fix a scheme. You know, one player coming back cannot fix a scheme. He can improve it, and he can be sort of that, releasing some of the pressure, which lets everything else, breathe a little easier. But he's not going to suddenly fix their scheme. Something is wrong. Now, could I see a scenario where Jones is a flop? Yes. That said, at the price 3,800, you look around that range, he's probably one of the best options there.
Yeah, especially at that range, he's definitely one of the best options. Plus, he's very touchdown dependent, but he gets a lot of touchdowns.
Right.
He had 10 the rookie year, and last year he was out, and this year he's got 2 touchdowns in 3 games. Dalton likes to throw to him in the red zone in the red zone and in the end zone because he catches. He loves that high value area, and he does very well in it.
All righty. Let's see. The next receiver we have is Mr. Quinoa, but when are the Jets playing?
Oh, that's right. They're
playing real early in London.
So we can.
So we'll take him out. I know we all know that Alex loves him, but we'll have to talk about him another week.
Yeah, I do love him.
Go.
Name's Quinoa.
Let's go then. Isn't that what I said?
That's what I'm saying. You said you love him, and I was like, yeah, his name's Quinoa. I wasn't arguing with you over calling him Quinoa.
Oh, okay. You were just agreeing. Okay. So next receiver was Devontae Parker, but I can't bring him up either on DraftKings, so I'm guessing we have to skip him too.
Are you spelling his name right?
I am.
Are you sure? Oh, he's early too. God damn it! I put those 2 in.
Early as well.
The early game. My bad.
Our structured production value is dropping immensely, very, very quickly here. So,
with that, my name tag, and then we can talk.
With that, you.
That's okay. It just made our lightning round more lightning-y.
Yeah, this is true.
It's true. That did just cut off quite a bit from the lightning round.
We liked them both in tournament.
There you go. So let's move on to a tight end lightning round. And the first one we're going to is Mr. Eric Ebron, coming in at 3,500 on DraftKings, 5,100 on FanDuel. The Lions travel to Seattle, and this is a Monday night game, I believe. So we're looking at a tight end that caught 4 for 61 against Denver this past week. He's sitting, again, 3,500 on DraftKings, 51 on FanDuel. Pete, are you on Eric Ebron this week?
I mean, yeah, I think he's sort of what Alex and I talked about last week, which is he's one of those, he's got decent upside. He's going to get you a pretty steady flow of catches, although didn't have a fantastic week against Denver. I think Ebron is a very reasonable play. What I like about him is he's slowly being more and more incorporated into the offense. And with his talent, you got to remember, this guy was a first-round pick last year. With his talent, he's going to be productive. Every week he's had 4 catches, 5 catches, 4 catches. So he's got a nice floor. He's got a very nice floor that you can expect 4 catches, 50 to 60 yards. In fact, every single week he's had 4 for 53, 5 for 43, 4 for 61. So between the catches and the yardage, you got a solid 10 points. If he finds the end zone, he's easily making value, as Alex and I have talked about. So you play him, you hope for a touchdown, and one thing, Seattle has been not so great against opposing tight ends. Obviously you gotta respect the fact that they're a good defense. They're playing at home this week, but one place you can put up fantasy points against Seattle is at the tight end position.
Alex, anything else?
Sorry, I thought you were going
to
lead me in. Hot take alert: Denver's defense is better than the Seahawks this year, which
Much
means
better.
that I think that he had a pretty good game last week. He's going to have a better game this week. This team, they gave up double-digit PPR points to both Kendricks and Jared Cook in the same game. Also gave up a pretty big game to Richard Rodgers. Pete, can you tell me what happened with Martellus this week? Because he wasn't even on the list.
Yes, I can tell you what happened with him. Jimmy Clausen happened.
Right. So the leading tight end receiver was Zach Miller. So that game doesn't count. But the first two count. Richard Rodgers, Lance Kendricks, and Jared Cook have all had great tight end games against this.
Right. No, you have to take the Bears game out of it. I think, honestly, I legitimately believe this. I think the Bears were trying to lose. And I know you guys are going to laugh about that, and I'm actually dead serious. I mean, they're down 20-0 in the late third and fourth quarter, and they're calling a run play, three plays in a row and punting. So, I mean, there's nothing more you can say about it. You have to take that game out from a fantasy perspective.
Okay, we will do just that then. I'm hesitant, with Cam back. I think that's just a big bump to that defense overall. So I'm hesitant to really be on Ebron heavily, but I could see myself sprinkling him in some lineups, getting at least some exposure to him.
You can't really tell because they played the Bears. You don't really know what he did to that defense.
I know. But just overall, it's definitely a better defense when he's in it.
Are you guys the butt of the joke this year? This is gonna be fun.
No, we're Cubs. We're just taking a page out of the Cubs playbook. It's fine, okay? Like 2 to 3 years, they're gonna be real damn good. Just watch.
Go ahead. Get a quarterback and it'll be
well, that's where. Okay, hey, did you not see my lower third tag mark?
I know. Jared Goff. Just don't get Christian Hackenberger. You're gonna be.
No, we're jacking off for Goff. Like that's the plan here. That's the phrase. Okay, they're just dicking each other around, waiting for Jared Goff to come along at the number 1 or number 2 overall pick.
Oh, that was great. All right. I don't know how to transition.
We gotta make a
Charles Clay.
I think we gotta make a shirt. Jerk off for Goff. 2016.
You're sitting on a gold mine with that, Pete. You really are.
We could
We may need to set up a cafe press or something.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Dig it. It's gonna happen soon. Once you guys start to suck, like that's gonna become a real thing. So you might.
If I had a tagline right now, I could change it to jacking off for Goff, but I don't have a tagline.
Don't worry about it. You'll fix it. You'll fix it next week or this week, and just start making shirts. Go to Bears games. It's the only thing that they're going to spend money on.
I'm telling you, you need to go. You need to trademark that right now.
Beer and jacking off.
Someone else is.
Are the only
someone
thing.
else is going to do it. All right, so let's move on to the next tight end here, Mr. Charles Clay, playing at home against the Giants, $3,300 on DraftKings, $5,200 on FanDuel. He saw the end zone twice in a row. Is it basically the same argument you guys had for Ebron in that the Giants can't really cover tight ends? Is that where you're going with this, Alex?
Yeah, but it's also the fact that I'm pretty sure Sammy Watkins is definitely out this week, and he started to really come alive when Sammy left the game against Miami. Plus, it was like a revenge game, which didn't hurt. But without Sammy,
there was that narrative.
Without Sammy, it's just an option for it's a good option for Tyrod to go to, that he really likes to throw the ball to. And I mean, on that touchdown, like he looked good. Like he should not. He should not have scored if it was like a normal tight end. He should not have scored. I can't talk while you're doing
So. All right, we're off the rails. Let's.
Charles Clay.
All right, Pete, do you have anything to add on Charles Clay?
I think he's a really good play this week. Actually, I do think Charles. He's a good play. Watkins is probably out, so there's more targets to go around. I think he's a good bet for the same sort of stat line we've been expecting from him. 60 to 70 yards, gets in the end zone, and real cheap. So, good play. I'm actually adding him in the non-DFS leagues I'm playing in too. And you know what, Mark? You just can't hold me down, man. Can't nobody hold me down. Take away my tagline. What do you think of that? what a little tape and paper can do. For you kids out there who all you know is iPad and computer, this is a life hack pro tip, okay? You get some tape, paper, and a permanent marker.
Oh, God.
You can do the same thing that Google spent millions of dollars to develop.
Oh my God! I have a whiteboard behind me. I should be using that every week now.
I know.
Dude, you'd be like, what's his name on Around the Horn?
Never mind. I don't want to do it. Woody Page. I do like Woody Page though.
Yeah, immediately. But look, this is all you need. You just need paper, one of these, and a little bit of this.
Oh, God. All right. Let's move on. Let's move on. The next tight end here. Browns traveling to San Diego. Mr. I don't even know his first name. Gary Barnidge, coming out of nowhere last week, going for
This one was
5 and a touchdown against Oakland. 3,100 on DraftKings, 5K on FanDuel, so darn near bare minimum across the board there. Oh, I don't know about this one. I'm completely off of him. I think it was an Oakland thing. So Alex, are you?
No, give this one to Pete.
What are you about?
He scored a touchdown when we were texting.
Wait,
Pete
what?
was so excited when
Okay.
he scored a touchdown.
What? I don't want to play him this week. Are you
I
kidding me?
didn't say you wanted to play him. I just said you were super excited about him when he scored.
I am not jacking off for Barton Ranch. Okay? That is not happening. Let me tell you this. You play...
Dude,
I
there
will
was
play-
more than milk in your drink.
Yeah,
There wasn't. It's skim. It's not even 2%. Like, that's how lame I am tonight. All right? Don't you laugh at me. No, I'm not. You know what? You play any tight end against the Raiders, okay? I'm going to go out on a limb here. And I hope David fails is starting for the Bears. I'm even playing Martellus Bennett this week. Like, yeah, why not? It's like they just forgot that you have to guard the tight end. It's like hey, yeah, there's that position at the end of the line that can run out and maybe catch a pass every now and then. Maybe we ought to do something about that. Nah, let's let Gary go. What did he put up, like 100 yards and 2 scores or something insane like that?
like 6 for 105 and a score.
There you go. There you go.
The only
You know what? This guy was probably bagging groceries with, like, what's his name? Kurt Warner, like 2 weeks ago.
Kurt Warner.
Kurt Warner could probably play tight end and catch a touchdown against the Raiders right now.
Was it Joik Bell actually doing that, or Sean Green? One of them was bagging groceries.
I think it was Sean Green.
Oh, yeah.
No, Sean Green was
I'm
losing
not playing
furniture.
Gary Barnidge this week, for sure. And, yeah.
The only nice thing I have to say about Gary Barnidge is that Josh McCown is terrible and he needs to throw the tight end.
I'd rather play Zach Miller over Gary Barnidge this week.
All right, fine. That's what targeting Zach
you do, Alex. You know what you do when you're a real life NFL team trying to jack off for golf? You throw the ball to Zach Miller.
That's
what you do.
how you get that.
All right.
Bears are gonna do.
Oh my God, I can't.
Zach Miller.
I'm just completely thrown off right now. So
Well,
I have
guess
nothing
what?
to
This
add,
next
but
one's just for you.
This next one is my boy. It's Mr. Richard Rodgers. The Packers traveling to San Fran this Sunday, playing the late game, 425. He is at bare minimum 2,500 on DraftKings, 4,900 on FanDuel. I'll tell you what, at that price, he really doesn't need to do much, right? He really doesn't need to do much to hit your value. But in saying that, I have an argument for and an argument against. An argument for is that Andrew Corliss is injured. He's out. I think it's 4 to 6 weeks now. You're going to see Richard Rodgers be the primary. He already was, but he's going to be even more so the primary tight end target for Aaron Rodgers this week and over the next couple of weeks. So you want to go season long. Maybe he's a pickup for you, on the waiver wire if you're streaming tight ends. But the counter argument is that his volume just isn't very high, right? His value really hinges on getting in the end zone. And we saw that Aaron Rodgers had 5 touchdown passes this week. Not one was to Richard Rodgers. I mean, he's sitting here with a max of 3 catches on the year, not even 30 yards in the game. So tournament play only for me. I do like him to get a couple of catches. If he does get in the end zone, he almost immediately hits value. So tournament play only for me here, though. But Pete, argue with me. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, tournament play at best. I just think there's better values out there, and you don't have to spend a lot more to get them. So tournament play at best for me.
Alex, anything else?
I mean, the only thing the only way I would recommend him in cash is if you just really, really want somebody, and you need to go bare minimum. If you have to go bare minimum at tight end, he's the guy. But other than that, yeah, I'd rather spend up for Clay.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to go bare minimum and you're willing to punt the position completely, then yeah, you take a starting tight end who now has nobody really spelling him every couple of series on a pass-happy offense. So I mean, there are a lot worse plays out there.
Also, Navarro Bowman can't cover tight end. He just can't do it.
It's not his job.
Yes, it is. He's a middle linebacker. He's covering tight ends occasionally, but he can't do it.
All right, so let's see here. That was our last tight end of the night. I know that we had quite a few questions in the chat, but we are going to save those for
Thursday.
For Thursday, yes. I'm going to copy and paste them right now. So thank you guys very much for watching. Again, always appreciate the views, the comments, the laughter, the no jokes. Someone actually did the, hold on, I'm scrolling up. Did the 8 = D for the symbolization of what Pete was doing for golf. So that's actually in the comment transcript right now, which is fantastic. Thank you very much, Greg. Appreciate that. Oh, man. And to all you new viewers, thank you very much. If you guys haven't done so already, sign up to DraftKings through our link. It will help support us in doing all of this. If you have any questions, reach out to us on Twitter, at Alex Hanowitz, spell it out for him, Pete.
P, Karagianis, that's Karagianis. The letter P and the last name Karagianis.
We will put that into the description from now on, since Pete will be joining us. And I'm at Emin Milano. For the guys, thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you all on Thursday. Take care, guys.